and welcome to a brand new Five Heart podcast live on a Thursday night. It is the last day of April, and I'm so sorry that we missed you last week. It's completely my fault. Who am I? I'm Greg Mahachko, and this is the co-host, Fred Sacco. Fred, how are you doing tonight?
Doing well. A little tired, a little just kind of blah with the strange weather we've had here the last, month. It's kicking my ass. But yeah, I'm here and I'm here for it for all our Holger maniacs because I think we're not the Ecking crew anymore.
I don't know if we're the Holger maniacs anymore either. I don't know what we are. Simpletons.
Figure something out. Simpleton Jets, right?
The chat. We're the yet to be named Husker fan group that meets pretty regularly. I'd say the anomaly being last week. So again, my sincerest apologies. But we're back, and Fred, we did have, with last week's show being missed, last Thursday was the first night of the NFL draft. But, I know that Justin Rogie said a couple weeks ago, kept mentioning in the comments, the stadium renovations. So there are a few topics that we are going to discuss here tonight. I don't necessarily think this show is going to go. We're not going to be setting any records. We're not going to be going to 11:30. I think tonight's probably going to be in and out in about an hour and let everybody get on with their lives. But I just want to get the pulse of Fred. Fred, how you been the last couple of weeks?
Been doing good. Busy with work. Just kind of trying to. Not a lot to keep up with Nebraska stuff. But just kind of had strange weather here, and I'm sure you've kind of had some of it too. Like some days we'll have I'm used to the cold in the morning, and then, by the time I come home, it's like it's warm and I'm hot. I'm like, oh, this sucks, whatever. But we've had days where it's been cold in the morning, warm at lunch, cold again, then warm. And it's just been wreaking havoc with everything. I've been working on my garden and got too rambunctious last week. I went to the gym Saturday morning, and then I spent another 2 hours working in the garden, rebuilding concrete blocks with my raised beds and pulling posts out of the ground. And I also went into the steam room at the gym, and then I took the dogs for a walk, and then I went down to Kincaidor and hydrated with a lot of beer. Probably one of the best ideas, and it just felt like my whole head and body were in a vice due to the dehydration. But, I'm not 17 anymore, believe it or not.
You're not?
No, I know. I'm just a shade past 85. But, yeah, so just been busy with a lot of things like that, and, just kind of living the dream. And I'm definitely happy to be here again tonight. I was bummed too. I didn't let the people down last week, but we'll give them a show tonight, one way or another.
I don't think anybody let anybody down last week. It was just a perfect storm of circumstances, so to speak, that I was out for health reasons. So, but the good news is clearly I'm doing better. I say good news. Maybe not all of you agree, but I ain't dead yet, as John would say. But then he would say, call you shit asses or something like that. So we're here. I think where I want to start at least is talking about. I'm going to try to do this retroactive chronologically, if that makes any sense, because I do want to talk about the stadium renovations that were approved. If I remember correctly, a $600 million price tag on that. Does that sound pretty accurate?
It is, yeah. Because I think it was $450 million when they talked about it when Trev was still here, but that was again a few years ago. And John said it in his video, and you read a lot of places that the most expensive stadium is the one you don't build today or whatever. And that's, it's a hefty price tag, but it's building for the future. At first, when I see it, I'm like, oh, for God's sakes, I'm like, just money after money after money, because my brain can't process those numbers, but it makes sense to do it, because it's building for the future. It's not like some random silly beautification thing. It's structural, non-glamorous, not sexy stuff. A lot of that money is going towards as well.
Yeah, I think it's important to note, that for lack of a better term, demolition is going to end at the end of the 2026 season, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Or sorry, demolition is going to begin after the final game of the 2026 season. Now, for all we know, that could include a home playoff game, right? So
Yeah, if
maybe
you're playing on
construction gets.
Xbox with the offsides turned off, yes, then that's a playoff game. So yeah.
What was that?
I said if you're playing on Xbox with the offsides turned off on JV mode, then yes, we're definitely hosting a playoff game.
Yes.
Told you it'd happen.
But I think Troy Dannon said when you get down into it, some of those bones are 100 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, it's not just it. We would love to think that it's all going to be just a facelift, but there's some real structural work that needs to be done. So again, I like that how you phrased it. It is an investment in the future of the program. It also means that you don't have to go build a brand new stadium that's not, in that location. I mean, because there's no place downtown to put a new stadium. So
no.
you fix what's there, or you have to move it away from the area that it's at, which I think would definitely hurt it.
Yeah, there's just no way on earth it could ever happen. It's going to have to stay there for at least the rest of our lives, and people's children's lives before anything so drastic were to come. But they make these improvements, they should be ship shape for decades to come.
Well, that's dope. I do have a couple of graphics. I know by now everybody's seen them, but just bear with me because I've been. You got to be nice to me. I was in the hospital last week. By God.
Yeah, be nice.
Yeah. Well,
John put him in a step over toe hold and hit him with the flying salami brother clothesline, and it was not pretty.
What?
I said, John put you in a step over toe hold, and then he hit you with the flying salami brothers clothesline. It was a loser leaves town match.
Does that mean he lost if I'm still here?
Yeah, he did. He got disqualified then. Guy can't control his anger.
Booyah. Pitt says, by the way, our stadium hasn't been sexy from the interior since the Truman administration. And by the way, Pitt's here. Shout out to everyone who is joining us tonight. Justin is here, and Highlander, TSD, Nebraska. Mr. Matney is here. Vince Watson, and
Gary
Remind
Pierce
Me is here. Christopher Foote is here, and others. More people who aren't in the comments. Pitt says, what they are doing to Memorial Stadium, they're doing in a great way. Tear it down to parade rest, then start over, but maintain all fascia. I don't know what parade. So anyway, here's what it's going to look like. This is viewing the south end of the stadium. So they are closing off that. And also, they're going to put the student section down, all the students down in that end zone, which, I guess it's the perfect time to do it when you're talking about relocating the students, because new seating arrangements, I would imagine. I don't know how all of this will affect like season ticket holders, but just it looks. I'm glad that they're not doing anything with East Stadium. This, which I'm pointing to it with my mouse on my screen, which doesn't do anybody looking good. But the old gray lady, so to speak. I like the way that's being built up, Fred, as I share another image here, because it's going to really close off South Stadium, and it's going to make the noise stay on the field more.
Mm-hmm.
And Nebraska fans are so good. The game that I went to a couple of years ago at Colorado, even at Arrowhead, against Cincinnati, but Nebraska fans can impose themselves onto the opposition. This is just going to up the decibel level a little bit. I'm really excited for these changes. I think, like Pitt said, I think it's all being done in a really smart way.
It is. I mean, it's shows what kind of an undertaking it is. It's going to start at the end of this season and then work all the way through 2028, and we will. I think the seating will drop to about 65K during 2027, if I remember right, and then it'll be back up to around 80. It's not going to be the 90 anymore because they're putting in some of those like wider seat back seats. So, I mean, I don't think it needs to be like Tennessee or the Big House where you got to have 100,000+ people. It gets loud in there. It's always full, one way or another. So I don't, and it'll hike up demand, so
Right.
Probably more expensive tickets for that. But normal people like me don't get to go to too many games anymore anyways. So it is what it is. But the cosmetic stuff is cool. The open concourse thing is nice. Said they'll have more food options. Probably just means more vending or more, concession areas in general to get stuff quicker. Which to me, I just go to watch the game. I don't really dive into all the food and drink, but
Right.
yeah. No, I think it's going to be great.
TSD wants them to auction off the P troughs.
Aren't they doing something with them? I thought they actually
no
were. I heard that they were, or they're donating them or something. I figured John would have one named after him because he's got a uncomfortable reverence for the trough, the last I recall. Oh yeah, John, maybe they'll have space for John's gravy truck in there. Roll that fucker into the South Stadium.
Hold on, I'm Googling right now to see what the plan is. Google AI overview says as part of a $60 million upgrade, Nebraska's Memorial Stadium removing its infamous, that's harsh, historic, quote, piss troughs in the men's bathroom. Renovations aimed at modernizing facilities will replace the long-standing trough urinals, a move that has sparked debate among. Isn't this great? Like, this is where we are, that we're so steeped in thank God, though, it's not like the P troughs at I think Wrigley Stadium where fans used to go like sliding into the troughs back in the day.
Good Lord.
That's a real thing. I don't know if you knew that.
No, I didn't, and I probably didn't need to know that.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's great that AI is calling them infamous piss troughs. I mean, that's something that even AI is like kind of disgusted and dismayed by the concept. Yeah, I was never a super fan of them, but if you got to go, you got to go. And it's.
Yeah. I mean, as guys, we have the luxury that we can pee on a tree. What's the difference between peeing on a tree, peeing on a pee trough? Whatever.
Yeah, that's true.
This is the fun of the 5-heart. I don't know if any other podcasts are talking about the pee troughs.
No, in no other alternate universe, even the one where you and I are Batman and Robin are interchangeable. There's no other universe or singularity in time where two people are talking on a podcast about Husker pee troughs. So we are pretty damn unique.
So all I can say is it's good to be the king.
Piss troughs and sellout records. That's where we're at. Somebody needs to make a shirt for that.
Husker Bob remembers being terrified of the pee troughs in the men's room as a kid back in the 60s. Said it reminded him of his granddad's feedlot when the steers were being fed. I'd be concerned about that also.
As the kids say, I just got to sit with that for a minute. Yeah, I don't know.
It also means, look, these renovations also mean it's less likely that Nebraska will ever have a dome.
Good.
Because by God, football should be played in all the elements, right?
It needs to be. And they're not doing grass now, right?
Correct.
As I mean, putting in a grass field, not Randy Gregory grass. But what was the reasoning behind that? I didn't hear it. Or they just decide that.
I just think
cheaper.
I want to say, and I'm not going to get it right, but I don't even know if I want to speculate. Probably just the time wasn't right, or it was not going to be logistically sound to make those changes right now. So, and also think about this: it's not just going to be a football stadium anymore. I mean, they're going to have it as the multi-use venue, which will make it more difficult maybe to have on grass sometimes.
That's true too. I mean, I went to a concert at Mile High years ago, and they covered the field with just this hard plastic corrugated cover so it wouldn't tear up the turf with all the people on it all day long for the show. So yeah, that's probably part of the reasoning. And isn't it going to be somehow heated though as well?
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, I could have swore I'd heard mention of that, because then they said that would make it easier for the year-round stuff, doing things outside. But
yeah, because it is. You're right, because it says the this is from the New York Times. Renovation designed to make the stadium a year-round venue supporting non-football events. It is heavily focused on fan experience, driven by feedback from numerous surveys, and the focus is shifted to intensifying work on the east and west seating areas to maximize revenue potential. Again, sometimes you're going to sacrifice seating for revenue potential. I think it was Tim on Facebook who said, disappointing that the seats would be cut down makes it less accessible for regular Nebraska fans. I think so many, even Nebraska fans, have talked about how the sellout streak is on paper only. And when you have to have corporations coming in buying up sections of seats, good opportunity for fans to come in and buy those, before the corporations have the opportunity to do so. So,
I mean, and to be fair, the prices, there'll be scarcity. Prices could go up, but in theory, if I wanted to go to a game, I still could, and sometimes, a person, you get cheaper tickets. It's not impossible. An impossible get, and it's also not like getting tickets to, say, I don't know, WrestleMania, where it's $2,000 a ticket kind of a thing. So it's doable, but I also get it kind of pulls it back on people, and you got to be able to spend a little more to get in.
Justin Rogie says, because it was asked about a new stadium, which I'm not in favor of, because I don't know. I just like everything about Memorial Stadium. And I've only been there once, but I love how it looks. I love its history. But he says there's no real way you could build a new stadium. One, being location would have to be moved out by Waverly or on Highway 77, moving it away from downtown, ultimately killing the downtown area. Two, the money would be about ... Turn the page.
That's
1.8 billion, making it necessary to use tax dollars that would have to be put to a vote of the people, and the vote that would never pass because every building owner, business, employee, etc. would fight against. And then he just trailed off. So,
well, and he's right. I mean, you can walk from the Haymarket or downtown to the stadium within minutes. It's not far away, so everything flows out that way once the game's over. So you couldn't do that. And I don't see a universe or a possibility that it would ever not be where it's at on campus, right off of downtown. It's not going to happen.
No, it really is ideally located. Walking proximity from the Haymarket district. Everything's just kind of right there. Makes sense. It's the economic epicenter of the state of Nebraska in many regards. We got to go back to the P-Trough conversation, because Kaylee says the P-Troughs were pretty bad in the women's restroom too.
I'll take Kaylee's word for it.
You never mind. So Beetle B says it'll be a heated field. That unfortunately, with climate change and global warming, we don't see as many field covering snowfalls in October, November in Lincoln as they would like in Buffalo in January. Where, if you remember, a couple of postseasons ago, Bills fans were out there, for like $20 a day or something like that, shoveling snow, clearing things off for the playoffs. But I suppose it would definitely keep things moving as far as, if you don't have to worry about clearing off the field, at halftime or before a kickoff, something like that, if the field is heated.
Yeah, it's still, at least still outside. At least there's not going to be a dome. They're bullshit, pussify the game. We can't have a dome. I would riot. I would chain myself to what is left of the stadium and just be a terrible person until they drug me away.
Now, what not softening the game as much, but making it a more enjoyable fan experience if it was in climate control, right?
It would be, but I figure the players got to be out there in it. I could be out there in it too. You know, I get it. And some people don't like it. And for older people, it's difficult and whatnot. But yeah, I can't see it happening here ever.
No. And I also want to say that was, I was being the devil's advocate, although that's unnecessary. The devil has enough advocates. But I'm still of the mind, like, you know what? The Super Bowl should rotate around. It shouldn't always be in Los Angeles, Vegas, Miami, Atlanta or New Orleans. Like, by God, put it at Lambeau Field once or twice and get rid of the celebrity element and make it just about the football game. But that'll never happen. So again, old man yelling at the clouds.
Well, all sports are just content now, the way it's handled, regardless of what we feel. I mean, I still view it as sport, but coverage and everything else, it's content. And it's just for clicks and views and ratings and whatnot. And the TV execs control it all, but they ain't putting a dome on our damn stadium. I'll tell you what.
What?
No, I just told you.
Okay.
They ain't putting a dome on our stadium.
Pitt says, you lie, Sack. You'd still be all over the Huskers.
Yeah, I'd be bitching about it. Yeah.
Which we already do.
I'm consistent.
David Manny says, if we did have a dome, the volleyball team might sell it out. I don't know the official numbers, but I know that the Chicoine Center on the beautiful campus of Chatham State College was sold out. There was a long line of people waiting to get in, and what ended up not being a very friendly springtime day last Saturday as Nebraska took on Northern Colorado State, one of the two. I don't know. They won. That's all that matters.
There's a directional Colorado of some sort, but we don't care about. But yeah.
Right. Directional state school. Yeah. So kudos to them. Kudos to the Husker fans who showed up. BFOTS Josh was not there, but as he put it, all the important women in his life were his wife and daughter and sister and his mom and his mother-in-law. So that's what. And then he and his son did some dude stuff. So it was a good time.
Oh, good deal. So, tell him to come see our show sometime.
He doesn't have his man cave cigar lodge ready to go, so he's incapable of enjoying the show without a cigar and a drink.
Is he like Rain Man or something? He has to have, or is he like Dylan? He has to have perfect conditions in which to thrive.
Right.
That's it.
Nebraska Strong says, "What about a retractable roof, Brad, so that we can have the best of both worlds?"
Nope, because they'd probably still just close it. At the slightest drizzle or anything else. I don't. Retractable roof is cool, but I think they would probably keep it closed more than they'd have it open.
What about, we always think about those late afternoon games when the shadows and light. At least if it was a dome, you'd have controlled lighting. You wouldn't have to worry about the off balance play there.
Our quarterbacks would still find a way to throw interceptions if there was shade. There was no shade.
No.
There was.
You're thinking of past quarterbacks.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
So, future quarterbacks for Nebraska don't throw interceptions.
No, they don't.
They scramble, run, or they throw the ball away.
Yeah, they can scramble and play the game and be a man. It's pretty sweet. It's pretty exciting.
I'll put this out there. Since you said to be a man, to anybody who may not be aware of the song, I'm not going to post a link because that requires more greggling. But sometime jump on YouTube and type in DVDA, Now You're a Man. So you're welcome. Are you familiar with that one, Fred?
I am not. No. Okay. Is that a new music came after 1995? Probably.
I think it actually came out in 1995.
Oh, shit. Okay. Must have been one that I missed because I kind of gave up on music after 95, 96. Just show. Yeah.
Now you got me.
I'll have to check it out. I've never heard of that.
It came out in, I'm sorry, 1998.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I feel horrible. And I misled everybody. So don't ask me what DVDA means. It's not my place to tell you. Also, don't Google that one at work. So,
Okay, yeah, I'll check it out after the show. It sounds familiar, and once I hear it, I'll probably know what it is. Yeah, I've
you
not.
will.
Yeah.
Let's see. Pitt says, I've got $5. It says we see better quarterback play this coming season than we've seen in over a decade. And I'll throw the only caveat in there, the only wrinkle possibly would be I think Casey Thompson highly underrated. That Thompson to Trey connection was so money. I wish he would have stuck around here instead of going back down south. Wish he would have been here for another year. Casey Thompson in that first year with Matt Rule would have provided, I think, some consistency that we definitely lacked, because then we had to have Jeff Sims, and thankfully we had Heinrich Harburg to pick up the slack there. So
yeah, Thompson would have been. He was just a game manager. He was the guy that did. He was the guy that, watching his highlights, reminded me of other Texas quarterbacks that would screw us over the years. They might not have been the greatest player, but they would have that weird
not
scramble.
A liability.
Yeah, and they would make smart decisions and throw the ball away, or just randomly make the odd third down conversion type of play that, and that's what I see a lot of out of Calandria as well. Plus, he's got some real wheels. So, yeah, hate to say I'm excited, but I kind of am excited because it's like we're seeing a brand new style of quarterback. Well, not brand new overall for the history of Husker football, but brand new in the last 2 years. Yeah, right. So I'll take it gladly.
Yeah, and I don't know, because I didn't watch the spring game. I never, went back and watch. I never went back and watched the spring game. Shame on me. Is Calandria the crowned quarterback, or are we still having competition in the fall? Like I still say the jury's not out on TJ Lateef.
I don't think it is either. I think Rule says they're having a competition, but I think it's kind of Calandria's job to lose. I mean, that's just a feeling to me. And that's kind of the deal with the nil and all that too. You're going to get a guy in with the money. You're going to pay that. If you're paying him that much, most likely he's going to play.
Yeah.
Nebraska
Strong says Calandria is the quarterback. Christopher Foote says TJ. Now, here's an interesting one. Thuziza says, was Zach Taylor and Joe Gans the last time we were excited about our quarterbacks? And I'm going to say no. We were excited about Dylan Raiola.
Yeah.
Just the on-field production did not match the off-field hype. The reality did not meet expectations. But we were, I think, excited for him, and you could go back. There was a lot of excitement. Let's not forget that Taylor Martinez came after Gans and Taylor Martinez was electric until he got hurt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were talking Heisman for him after 4 or 5 games, and then
that Kansas State game.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah, it just looked like. I was thinking, man, we really have something here.
Right.
But the injury always kills. It was way back with Bobby Newcomb, and he might not have been the next great thing either, but he was really, really good. And then he got hurt, and he was never the same. And then it was kind of the thing with him and Crouch Crouch took over, and he won the Heisman. But Newcomb was a better passer, in my opinion, and probably a little slicker with the option as far as choices, instead of it just being kind of the keep and cut Crouch game that people used to dub it back then. But yeah, to go back to the point with Gans and Taylor, though, if you're talking about guys that actually got production and played well and won some games, I give him that, because Zach Taylor was something, and that was something we hadn't seen in forever. A straight up passer.
Wasn't he a Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year or something?
I believe he was. Yeah,
close to it.
I went to a couple of the games where he was quarterback, and we had a pretty wild overtime game against Iowa State that we won. And he was great in that one, and he was great in a lot. And Gans, God, once he took over, under Callahan. He looked like freaking Peyton Manning out there with the offense. He was, all the hand signals and all the stuff. And then, see, he was pretty good too for whatever we were running on offense back then, because it was just such a weird hybrid mishmash of shit. But
I think too with Joe is, he's a coach somewhere now, I think. But I don't want to, overstate or overspeak, but he came in kind of unheralded, and I think that the more he played, the more he succeeded. As fans, I think we were just like playing with house money because I don't think the expectation was there. And to an extent, that's why I kind of revel being like, a preseason unranked team. There's less pressure, there's lower expectations, and it's perhaps a more relaxed environment versus coming in as a 5-star quarterback, starting as a true freshman and feeling the entire weight of the program on your shoulders. I just think that, Joe Gans, it's criminal that he didn't get a shot at the next level.
Yeah, he was a guy, if you talk about like maxing out your talent and maxing out what you can do with what you had around you. I mean, I thought he's great, so that's like, but like, the question was, are you not excited about him? I mean, excited while he was here. It was like, dang, he was really good. I mean, there've been a lot of guys that were pretty good, and Armstrong was another one that was kind of, I don't think he gets his due just because of the way things, to go from Bo to Riley, and you're kind of caught in the mosh there between regimes and play styles. And some of the guys just didn't get a fair shake as far as just timing too.
Yeah, that's the tough part, is that, it's just stars have to align to a certain extent. A lot of it is within the player's ability to control, and a lot of it's not. So at the end of the day, all you got to do is go out, keep your wits about you, keep your head on the right way, and go out and play some football, and hopefully, come out. You can have a great game as an individual player, but if the team doesn't win, your efforts are for naught, So that's why I'd rather have a national championship team than a Heisman winning player. You know what I mean?
Yeah. A guy that runs up a bunch of stats and doesn't get you there. I mean, in a way, you kind of say that about Crouch, but it was also, he earned his Heisman, I think, just because he was the cog. He was the whole machine, he was all of it for us. And he earned that award, and the team went as far as it could. But I'd rather have a quarterback that, can just do what it does to take to win the game, and doesn't have to be fucking Captain America out there. Just win,
Let's see, a lot of love in here, and rightfully so, for Brooke Behringer. Pitt says Brooke would have been our first quarterback draft pick in 15 plus years. Beetle B says, let's not forget about Brooke. And
he
Nebraska Strong says, favorite Husker quarterback of all time, though, was Brooke Behringer. Behringer was undefeated as a Husker quarterback. Now, again, nobody was forgetting him, Tommy Frazier, Eric Crouch even, but the question was, as excited since Joe Gans and Zach Taylor. So I was trying to stay in the parameters.
Yeah.
I mean, again, Nebraska, for not being known as a passing school, had tremendous quarterback play. And Brooke was, if you were to close your eyes and envision an NFL quarterback, it would have been Brooke.
Yeah, they'd said way back then, because that's when I followed everything, nonstop, NFL, college. And I think the talks were he was either going to end up going to the Redskins or the Niners. And he would have had a career. I mean, he was a prototypical guy. He was a good dude. Like, he was a fucking saint. Like, yeah, so that's, really thinking about a guy with hype or a little bit of excitement. Honestly, a name that didn't do anything that we didn't even mention would have been Sam Keller. Because he was supposed to be, he's the Arizona State guy, and he was coming in, and Bill Callahan, and we were going to, then Callahan wouldn't let him audible and all this just dumb shit. And then he got hurt. And then that brought on, Peyton Manning, Joe Gans over there after that, but at the time, Keller was thought of as like, oh, this is what we need. This is the perfect quarterback for Callahan's offense. And, I was excited 5 minutes and then gave up
all
on
he did
that.
was ruin NCAA college football for everybody.
He sure did.
The video game.
He did. Him and the O'Bannon brothers for UCLA, and then that little short running back for Delaware. Because the guy was like shorter than Minnie. And he said, well, you can definitely tell it's me because they made the running back like, 4'11" and, 210 pounds, a short little fat dude. And he bitched because, he thought people were, they're profiting off of his likeness. Because I know I sure as hell bought NCAA football to play the Delaware Blue Hen running back. But yeah, I think they're the Blue Hens. I don't know. I lose track.
Think about this though. If Brooke would have been drafted by the Niners, he would have been playing behind Steve Young at that point.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a bad guy to sit under that learning tree,
Well, and that's kind of how back in the NFL when they could do it, because there was that time where the Niners were Montana, Young, and Steve Bono. I mean, not that Steve Bono was the greatest thing since, but he was good, played a long time. And so just think about that. So at least you get that tutelage and under that style of offense. Yeah, he could have, he could have really done something. It's with the Redskins, I think they were kind of on tailing off of what their greatness from that stretch in the 90s when they were pretty good. And I don't know if Dan Snyder had taken them over yet or not. And he turned it into basically like if you're just running a team on Madden football where you just got the best players you can find, no matter how old or young or fat or lean, and thought they would just automatically win together.
Well, speaking of Huskers in the NFL, as we mentioned at the top of the show, last Thursday was night one in the first round of the NFL draft. And unfortunately, Nebraska did not have anybody selected in the first round or the second round or the third or fourth rounds. But finally, in round 5, with the 161st overall pick, the Kansas City Chiefs selected the 2025 second team AP All-American and Big Ten running back of the year, Nebraska's Emmett Johnson, Fred.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. And really to go to that team, because he goes from playing with Timu Patrick Mahomes to the real Patrick Mahomes. So that's pretty cool.
And that quickly became the meme on social media.
But also, though, that style of offense, he could easily be the third down back. They could do a lot of stuff with them. I just briefly kind of scanning different comment sections about that. And the Kansas City Chiefs, at least the ones I was reading their comments, they were stoked. They were like, yeah, he's going to be replace some guy named Pacheco or something, or he's going to be their version of Pacheco.
Carlos Pacheco, I believe.
Yeah, I believe so. So yeah, it's like they're excited. I think it's great. It's played on there. He gets to play with one of his teammates. Was it Singleton? I think went there as a undrafted free agent.
Let's talk about that, shall we?
I mean, we can still talk about Emmett, but I was just thinking about at least he'll have a teammate, and he's close to quote unquote home,
right?
Lincoln, and just up the road go up for there, or you go up to Minnesota. So yeah.
I loved watching his the video of him getting the call about being drafted. A lot of emotion for Emmett, and rightfully so. When he was talking with Coach Reed, he said, "Yes, sir. Let's go in a Super Bowl." Now, as a Steelers fan, I don't ever want that to happen. And I know we have Broncos fans and not just Chiefs fans here in the chat, but still, you can't be anything but proud and happy for him. So he was the only Husker drafted. I saw something that in the last 15 years, maybe 20, something like that there are only 3 Division I college programs that have that haven't had a player drafted in the first 50 picks. And it was Kansas, I believe, Virginia, and Nebraska. So,
yeah. Well, we've fallen on hard times, and partially it's because of, talent and evaluation players and how they're used and whatnot. And that's not a thing you really want to be in, but here we are. But yeah, I mean, I'm stoked for him.
Yeah.
Couldn't happen to a better guy after all he had. You know, he was a one man team last year on offense a lot of times. So now he can go be behind an NFL offensive line, get time to learn. No, I think it's a great deal for him.
I think you're right. I think there shouldn't be any pressure for him to go out there and try to feel like he's got to do it all. Let him learn. Let him hit the NFL weight room. Like Nebraska's nutrition and training and nutrition and weight and all that stuff is tremendous. But now his job is playing football. Right? You don't have to worry about class. You just got to go be a rookie in the show and put on that NFL size. I mean, obviously can't do anything about your height. He's not the tallest, but he's got room to bulk up, and I'm excited for him because he's shifty. He's got good vision. He's got a great attitude, and the only downside is that he's a Chief. So
yeah, I mean, and that's kind of a thing. I don't love the Chiefs. I got bored with the overexposure of them because here, at least in our TV network, back in the old days, and I don't know how it is now, but by and large, every NFL game was going to be on Sundays was Chiefs, Broncos, Pack, sometime if they're doing good, Vikings all the time for some reason, and Bears if they were good. That's always so. Even in the Chiefs' lean years when they were winning just a handful of games, you get a 2-win Chiefs team against a 1-win San Diego team, and it was just fucking brutal. So I used to get sick of them with that, and then the resurgence, and then now everybody's a lapsed Chiefs fan. All of a sudden, they come running back, and they're all wearing the Chiefs Kingdom shirts, and it's like you were Legion of Boom Seattle Seahawks fans a while back when they had their one. Like the fuck out of here. But I'm happy for him. And I hope he does really well. And in the NFL, he's a little bit shorter, gets behind the giant line, third down back, screens, draws, things like that. He'll do well.
Right. And that's something that some of the commentators I saw excited about is, he's not just a running back, but he's able to make plays out of the backfield and in the passing game as well. So obviously we all know that. Chiefs are excited for it. So it's all we can hope for. And like you said, he's not going to be alone in Kansas City as Deshaun Singleton was signed as an undrafted free agent. He's going to Kansas City. We have two players going to the Broncos, Dane Key, the wide receiver, and defensive end / linebacker Dasan McCulloch, both headed to Denver. Sierra Wright is following Cam Taylor-Britt. Oh, it took me too long. Joining him, at least I'm pretty sure CTB is still over in Cincinnati, but Sierra signed with the Bengals. And then two players, one on each side of the ball, are headed to Tampa Bay. That is offensive lineman Henry Lutovsky and linebacker Javen Wright, both going to the Buccaneers. So,
that's kind of neat, actually. Two, like multiple pairs, kind of an odd thing.
And it's just there's something about I don't know, like it seems like Nebraska is favorited by just a few teams. Obviously we've had, look at he just retired. Levante David was a career Buccaneer. Kansas City, obviously Denver makes sense. And then Cincinnati is another outlier for Huskers to end up in the NFL. So I don't know these relationships with the scouts or what, but those are seems like some of the hot spots where Huskers end up at least immediately out of college.
They have in this last handful of years. Yeah, it seems like an odd coincidence. It must be something. I mean, in Chiefs too, again, that's kind of a proximity thing.
Sure.
You could see that.
I would say Denver also, too, kind of,
Yeah, a little bit of Denver. You don't see as much with the Vikings and the Pack because I always kind of look at those because those are the immediate, in our area here. But no, I think it's great. I mean, at least they're in the league. It's one of those things. You get in the league, and if you can last and you get that NFL pension, I can forget about it. That's phenomenal. That's, you're taken care of. You're set.
I wish I had that NFL pension.
Me too. Gosh, I should try and be a punter or something. I could do that maybe. Now
Long
my ankles and
snapper,
my feet are
Fred.
bad. Yeah, that's I'll be a long. I don't like bending over in front of other men, so no, I'm not gonna be a long snapper.
What?
You said long snapper. I said I don't like bending over in front of other men, so it's just like.
But you're hiking it to somebody several yards back. It's not like you're the center.
I don't trust people, Greg.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's why you never want to talk about long snappers back in
No,
the past.
yeah. No, I don't want to talk about them because it's boring. But no, yeah, I could be a punter, but I got bad feet and bad ankles, so that probably wouldn't hold up too well. And yeah, guess I'm stuck here.
That's fine. We're happy to have you. I want to ask you, this is an interesting comment that just came up. Pitt says Levante is a Hall of Fame linebacker that will never be inducted. Sad. Now, I'm curious why he thinks he's never going to be inducted.
Yeah, I don't want to say it's easier to make the Hall of Fame nowadays, but just for longevity and the numbers, and he's got a ring, right?
Yep.
So yeah, so I think he'll go. I mean, Roger Craig was brought up earlier, and it's the same kind of thing. It's like they missed him, and the Hall of Fame pulled in a lot of other running backs that were deserving, but like out of order, like Edgerrin James and Marshall Faulk and Terrell Davis. And Terrell Davis was around for a cup of coffee, really, just because of his injuries. He had 2 Super Bowls.
Right.
Roger Craig had at least 3. And so it's like anymore, I think he might not be a first ballot Hall of Famer, but I think he'll go. I mean, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. What's your reasoning for that, Pitt? I guess I don't understand.
Finished his career with 1,172 solo tackles, 42 and a half sacks, 33 forced fumbles, 14 interceptions. Like you said, Super Bowl ring. Just 2 touchdowns. Come on. No. I'm a huge fan. So I don't know if I've said this in the past. I think I have. Levante David maybe might. Remembering that I became a fan and really started following Husker football 20 years ago, Levante David may be my favorite Husker.
No, I could see that. Yeah. I mean, because he did it all while he was here too. So yeah, he was nails. He was lights out. So yeah.
I think, and Pitt says, Greg, I say that about Levante just because he's under the radar. Roger Craig made the cut after 20 plus years. I feel like Levante David could be categorized as your favorite football player's favorite football player.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he's just a consummate professional, got the job done. I'm not in the Tampa media circle, right? So I don't know, but I always seem to just carry himself with dignity, but humility, integrity. I just feel like he played the game the right way. Now, I don't know if that's what the Hall of Fame voters value, but it's what I value. And that's why, just again, as much as it pained me, when Tampa Bay won that Super Bowl because I hate Tom Brady so much, I was so happy for Levante David. I truly was.
So. Yeah, no, it was great for him. And I get what he kind of says about under the radar. And also, and I don't want to go a whole NFL tangent, but it's like, I think about this latest run when Bill Belichick he should have been a first round pick or first ballot, I should say. And then he didn't because of whatever, odd stuff that they have going on with the media and the people that have the votes. So I get Pitt's trepidation where it's like, there could be somebody that has more, not political like politics, Republican, Democrat, but political pull as far as
right
notoriety and being loud, a Deion Sanders type, somebody that's got a lot of, swagger and whatnot. And I could see that possibly pushing David back a bit, but I don't
not grabbing headlines as much.
Yeah, and that's it. Yeah. It's just, God forbid, just playing the fucking game and doing really, really good. That's what it used to all be about. And then, damn, social media and internet came in and ruined it all, Greg.
Damn right it did. Doggone, it's like What have you done for me now? How many clicks can you get? What's your how many followers do you have? What kind of engagement?
Ugh.
It makes me sick,
Yeah,
Fred.
me too. Well, the WrestleMania, they had umpteen people involved that had nothing to do with wrestling, but their social media following was millions of followers. So they want to bring those people to the WWE, so they're taking people that were good full-time wrestlers that were good at the job and pushing them into the battle royal or nothing. And they're having some guy that is a social media idiot out there flying around. Like, I don't get it. It's unfortunate that it can't invade real sports other than things like these awards and Hall of Fames and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, speaking of other real sports, it's important to note that the spring sports are doing very well. Fred, did you know?
Yes.
Tell me what you know.
I know very little, but I know the women's softball is or was rated number 1. I just know for the fact I drove by the ballparks that are just down the street from us. There's the softball and the baseball for UNO right side by side, and traffic was a madhouse when UNO played the Huskers last week, I believe it was. And then baseball, I think last I saw is 16th ranked.
Well, they are 16. Softball is number 1. You're right. They did beat UNO last week 11-4. And you know what followed them beating Omaha is they swept Iowa at home, Bolin Stadium, Rhonda Revelle Field.
Yeah, that was cool. I saw that reveal. Yeah, that was nice.
And then think about this for softball this season, or I say this weekend is the end of the regular season. They're at Penn State. Now, for whatever reason, even the website has them as number 3. I could have sworn they're number 1, and they hadn't lost any games. So I'm going with at least number 1 in our hearts. But you let me know if someone smarter than me in the chat is saying otherwise. 3 at Penn State, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then the Big Ten tournament begins, and that's going to be in Maryland starting next Wednesday. So they are certainly the softball team poised to make a deep run. The baseball team, as you mentioned, they are 34-11 on the season, and their next action is this weekend at Ohio State. But they're unlike the softball, they don't have one more series. They have 3 more Big Ten series, and 1 game at Creighton. So 10 more regular season games for the baseball team, as they're trying to also sneak in there and host a regional. So,
no, that'd be sweet. Yeah, they could get that regional, get them up here for CWS, all that good stuff. I mean, that's all pipe dream. That's all double-edged things. I know some people that are CWS fans, and they didn't like it when Nebraska was in it because it's just too many Husker fans. They were bitching about that, but
oh darn,
yeah, get some up here. Hell, it's built-in home field advantage. Why not? No, I think it'd be great.
And the trying to find it. So there was one other thing. The track and field team opened up a new track center. I don't know what the hell you call it.
Yeah, I don't know what you would call it either.
Track center. Do you like
gym, arena? I don't know.
Field.
Facility, yeah. Just call it a facility.
And at the same time, Nebraska female shot putter, I'm probably gonna mispronounce this, Axelina Johansson, set a school and NCAA record in the shot put.
Damn. So, I saw a picture of her. She looked like she could throw John Johnston at least 80 feet. So yeah, she looked like a powerhouse.
Easily 80 feet.
Screaming all the way.
Probably loving it all the way. The Swedish shot putter. So yeah, I can't. I don't know. I can't find the exact measurements of that throw, but yeah, kudos to her. Kudos to and shoot, one of the male gymnasts won a national title. So Nebraska's doing everything right except in football. It's time for the football team that makes the money to start pulling their weight.
Yeah, it really grinds my gears. I mean, it's great. It's we kick ass in pretty much everything. Wrestling's good. Basketball did what they did. They're pulling in some pretty good transfers. Basketball is, so it's like they're reloading, which is great.
Yep.
Butane gel is going wherever to Vandy or wherever the fuck that is, but Oklahoma's number 1 in softball. Nah.
Thanks, Husker Bob. We appreciate the news. We're
boo, boomer sooner. Boo. Well, how the hell they overtake them? That's weird. Because I thought the women were number 1 unless they got beat by them.
Probably playing better competition.
Oh, that could be. Yeah, RPI.
Yeah, because Nebraska hadn't lost, so Oklahoma must have just played better, tougher teams. So
that must be.
Iowa's not good at softball. We 6-inninged them once. So, but yeah. So Fred, do you have anything else?
No.
What's on your heart? What's on your mind?
What's on my? Oh gosh, we only got good however many hours StreamYard allows. I have a lot on my mind, always do, but yeah, what grinds my gears. But no, all the stuff we talked about, the stadium, good improvement. We need it. I mean, it's a thing that people like us, I sure don't think about that. I go there, I don't think about amenities. I don't think about, but there's all this infrastructure stuff that needs to be fixed and to set it up for success for the next decades. And so at first I'm like everybody else in the world. I'm a headline person. You see the headline, you have a knee-jerk reaction on 600 million, son of a bitch, how's this, like all that type of thing. But when you dig into it, that makes sense.
Yep.
And our spring sports doing well. We got, Emmett got drafted. I didn't expect anybody else to get drafted, so it's not like that's a big shocker on that end of it. Spring sports doing well. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I as a Steelers fan, I get aggravated because they drafted not 1 but 2 Iowa Hawkeyes. And it's just like, come on.
Who'd they get?
They got the little return man, Connor Weechin.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And then they got the offensive lineman with the red mullet.
Oh, that idiot! Yeah, yeah. I'd be pissed too. Oh, that's yeah. I remember when I was a Bears fan. Sometimes they get players from Texas or whatever, and I'd just be pissed and be like, God, I hate. I mean, but they also were good players, unfortunately. But yeah, and also maybe they just pick them because the Iowa players ain't bright and they can only function in uniforms that are similar to the ones they played in college. So it's a little bit of black and gold. I'm just saying it's
that they have permission to use that color scheme from the Steelers too, which is crazy.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, they did. Yeah, that's right.
All right, real quick here. MPE says, if Greg thinks we're hosting a playoff game, he must have been transfused with Kool-Aid in the hospital.
That's my friend Mike. Yeah, he's kind of like me, where he's just, you got to show me at some point. But yeah.
Oh, here we go. Friends don't let friends be Bears fans.
Well, I'm not anymore. I quit following them. My boss at work asked me who my NFL team was during the draft, and I said it was the Bears. Not anymore. And he's like, "Oh, did you quit?" And I said 2 words: Mike fucking Glennon, because they picked him up in 2012, free agent, more picks than touchdowns, with a 4-9 record, and he was making like $6 million a year. And I thought, you're going to pay that for that type of play? That's an indictment on the Bears, who couldn't pour piss out of a boot, and B, the level of quarterback play that you're willing to settle for that. So I was out after years of watching just ignominious, stupid drafts where year after year they would draft by the numbers a backup tight end, a backup running back, and some other flash player, even though they needed things at other places. And then I loved it when they got Mike Brown from Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem was they said, well, we had to pick Mike Brown because we saw the Vikings get Randy Moss. And we thought, gosh, we better get somebody to cover him. Like, hey, I love Mike Brown, but he ain't covering fucking Randy Moss.
No.
And B, don't be reactive, be proactive. So I was like, fuck him. I was done with the whole thing after that. 2012 was it for me.
Let's see. And then Pitt says, what's in the water in Cincinnati that causes degenerate gambling?
Oh,
yeah, Brendan Sorsby went to Texas Tech and then checked himself into a rehab and center for gambling addiction. And my understanding is that he's entering the NFL supplemental draft, which I didn't know was a thing.
I wonder. I mean, so I'm guessing that Tech wouldn't have to pay him that nil money.
I mean, the check already cleared,
Yeah, I don't know. And yeah, they said he was betting all the way back to when he was at Indiana on their games. He wasn't playing in them, but he was betting then, and he's like betting even on. They said he was betting on literal baseball games, balls and strikes.
You can do that now.
Yeah, but to that level, like that kind of maybe is a degenerate gambler if you're going that deep.
Yeah.
Maybe he does need help, but it's like also, golly, just play the fucking sport and make your money. I don't know. Yeah. Well, maybe Dylan can, the prophecy can be complete and he can go down to Texas Tech and steal a lock of Mahomes' hair and be the quarterback down there after all.
Well, I saw a graphic that said that he was going to do that, but it was from like a troll account, that a couple hundred followers that, for entertainment purposes, only like a parody is wasn't a real thing. So.
I think Huskers 24/7 fell for it too, because a friend of mine sent me that with the Huskers 24/7, their story. So I thought it was just amazing because I hoped it was true, just to further, just shit on that guy because he's just a nightmare. But yeah, Sorsby, I mean, I think to me it's one of those NCAA teams when we're going to self-sanction. I'm going to go to rehab. I'm going to, you're getting out in front of it. So that makes me wonder what else may be lurking underneath the surface with him in that situation. So yeah,
liability.
Yeah, it's
he's become a liability, and I don't know how long it takes for those addictions to ease up, but I don't know if any NFL teams are going to be wanting to take a flyer on him. So
he's not that. I mean, he's good, but he's not that great. He's not a Peyton Manning type of talent where you're like, okay, we're going to roll the dice and we'll see what happens. Roll, no pun intended, Jesus Christ. But yeah, but literally you're not going to do that. He's not that great.
No.
I mean, but then again, the talent level and who can do anything in the NFL, it's kind of sketch now. But yeah, I don't see any team bending over backwards take that man. Nah.
The UFL is calling, Brendan Sorsby.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he
Good
can
luck.
be a
Good
Oklahoma Outlaw or whatever they are.
San Antonio Renegades or whatever it is. So, all right. That's all I got, Fred.
Me too. Let's
I
call it.
Appreciate you. Nice early evening for all of you in the chat. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. We appreciate your comments. We appreciate your interaction, and we look forward to seeing you again next week, where we'll certainly have more to talk about, probably. So,
hell yeah.
All that being said, for my friend Fred Sacco, I'm Greg Mahochko. This is the 5 Heart Podcast. We remind you each and every week that 5 Heart is all the heart you need. Fred?
GB freaking red for our someday comeback co-host mini. Yeah, that's all I got. I'm not firing on all cylinders tonight, people. I'll just tell you that. It's it's been a long week.
Are you sundowning?
I don't know what that means, but sure.
it means that as the night goes on and the older you get, you start to lose your faculties.
Oh yeah, I sundown at like 6 o'clock. I don't know what the fuck's even happening right now. I probably remember any of this in an hour. So yeah.
All right. Check out later. We'll see y'all later, people.
See you guys.